A watcher of the channel has requested that we do a 30,000 Rand build guide, and you can see it over here. It is from Mr. Jimpix, or whatever that is. So 30,000 Rand is a decent amount for a computer. That is, right around $2,200, something like that, maybe a little bit more, but it's a good amount to build a PC with, especially in South Africa. And a PC like this will be able to play, most games at full graphics. You don't really need 30,000 Rand to build a PC. With 25,000 is enough. But if you want to go into that upper echelon of gaming, you can do a budget like this. So today we're putting together a little build for Mr. Jimmy Pix, and 30,000 Rand, this is what I would do. So first up here, you have the chassis. Now, I always say chassis-wise, case-wise, you can just get what you like, because most of them are 1,000 Rand or thereabouts, and it's really just up to you to what you enjoy in a case and what you want in a case, the sort of case that you like, the style that you like. It's really just up to you to decide what it is that you want. For myself, this Montec Air case, I've built in this before. It's a really good case, very sturdy. It's a good price as well for how big it is. I have this one by my TV right now, a Montec Air 100 Lite, very nice little chassis. So it's just up to you. Some people like these fish tank cases. Deepcool make good stuff. Leondi is a little bit above in terms of build quality and material use, so that is a more premium case, and it's a good price for a premium case, but it is a smaller case. I really like this look of case. I haven't used this one, but I like how that looks. NZXT also in that upper echelon of cases, and they have some nice ones on special. So I would take something like this, the NZXT. I think this is the H5 Flow. It's a really nice looking case. I like it a lot. Something like this, that has that side panel but still has a lot of ventilation, comes with a couple of fans. That's the kind of case that I enjoy. Not necessarily need RGB, but it's up to you whether you want that. So that's my pick for the case. Then, case-wise, that's good. Moving on to the CPU. So this is where it gets tricky, right? Because 30,000 Rand's a lot, but some things are really expensive now. Back in the day, like 2 years ago, when 30,000 Rand would have gotten you this PC, but a 2 terabyte SSD and 32 gigs of RAM. Now, that's just not possible because of the memory situation, because of the AI situation. All of the RAM is just going to data centers. We're just not getting any of it. So in that case, you just have to take what you can get. We'll get to the RAM, but what I'm saying is it affects the CPU as well. So I would have liked to get the 9800X 3D, but at this price, it's another 2,000 Rand. It does perform fairly better, but it's just slightly too expensive because it does take us above that 30,000 Rand limit. So if you take a look here, the 7500X 3D, that's an interesting choice if you're just gaming. It's a lot cheaper. Then you have the 7700, 9700X. In my opinion, these CPUs are more than good enough. But then when you get to the 3D cache chips, the 7800X 3D is still a very good chip. It is running at 5 gigahertz. It's an 8-core chip. It's a Zen 4 chip, and it's a good chip. Now, of course, you can opt for a 9900X non-3D, but the 9800X 3D is just slightly too expensive. If it were 1,000 Rand cheaper, we could probably go for it, but it's just slightly too expensive. So if you do want to go for the best, because that's, like the second or third best gaming CPU out there, the 9850 is like second best or first best. So these are the top of the pile sort of CPUs, but this gaming wise is still in that top 5. So it's still a very good choice. CPU cooler wise, I like air cooling, even though I do have a liquid cooler in my PC, but both of these options are good. ID cooling make good things. I've bought this one before. It's a very nice cooler. And but make sure you get something good enough, because this CPU is going to run quite hot. A lot of power going through it. But all of these are decent. This one's maybe a bit small. Something like this would be really nice. We do have a little bit extra budget, so let's take this one because it's just that little bit extra. Taking us to around 29,800 Rand. I want to see what that is in in dollars. So 28,000, I mean 30,000 rand. The rand is like 17 right now, so it's it's $1,700. I thought it was like $2,000. Okay, $1,800 more or less. That's the cost of this PC, right? So it's quite a good PC. And then we move on to the motherboard here. Now there's some room for choice here because I enjoy a smaller PC, so I would always take something that's micro ATX. Mini ATX is too expensive because there's a tax on it. Not really, but it's more expensive just because of the size. But something like this is good because you get Wi-Fi, which is always valuable because then you don't have to worry about that. I like the way this looks. That doesn't matter, but I do like it. Now, with a smaller motherboard like this, you don't get as much I/O. Like if you look at the USBs here, we only get 6 USBs. And I would expect a USB-C, but I don't see one. So that's disappointing. No USB-C. That's maybe a bit of a problem, but no USB-C on this one. You will have it on the case, and the motherboard will have a header for it. So you'll still have USB-C in the front, just not in the back, which is a bit disappointing at this price point. But, I/O-wise, it's not going to be the best. Now you can, in the same sort of price point, go for a larger motherboard, something like a full ATX motherboard. Or even an eATX, which won't fit in this case though. But if you go for a full one, this is going to take us over the price slightly. But something like this, you'll get more I/O options. You see, so you get an extra 2 USBs and you get a USB-C. This one still has Wi-Fi as well. For some reason, it still has a PS2 port here, maybe for some analog keyboards. And then looks-wise, it's quite nice. Also a gigabyte. You do get you get 3 NVMe slots here. I'm sure this is going to be very, very recent definitions of NVMe. Let me see if I can find it. You do get Wi-Fi 6E, so that's really nice. Really quick Wi-Fi on us. You get an M.2, 1 Gen 5 and 2 Gen 4s. So it's going to be very quick. I assume this is the Gen 5 and these are the Gen 4s. But with the price of SSDs now, NVMe SSDs, you're not going to be able to buy them anyway, not at this price point, so it doesn't matter for now. RAM-wise, you do get 4 DIMM slots in this one, so you can go for something like this. There's not a lot of bad options, to be honest, because they don't really sell a lot of bad options on Wootware. But I would go for around 2,000 to 2,500 rand. That would be my sort of price point for this, something like this. Asus board is very nice as well. I like these Prime boards because I like how clinical they look. You do only get 2 NVMEs on this one, but that's fine for me. I never use more than 2 anyway. You do get 4 DIMM slots. I always look out for that, even though DDR5 wise, you're probably not going to fill them up. And let's see if this one has a bit of a better I/O. It does. It only has 6 USBs, but it does have that USB-C there. So let's go for something like this. It's still in the price point there. Yeah, takes us to close to 30,000 there. So I would go for something like that, but you do have options. Just make sure it's compatible with your CPU. But the nice thing about Wootware's PC Builder is it filters it out. So if you have a CPU that's not compatible, you won't see a motherboard for it. So the incompatibility is not it's not possible. Moving on to the RAM now. This is a set of Kingston RAM, 5600 megahertz here, mega transfer. So CL36. It's not the best kit in the world, but it's 5,500 rand, right? So it's a tough thing because you do get 2 sticks with this. So it's only 16 gigs, and I'm sure you would want to go for 32 gigs at this price point, but it's just not possible because, like, if we scroll down, that's the cheapest 2-stick kit that you can find on Wootware right now, and that's 5,500. Now, if you go to 6,000 almost here, you get the RGB ones. I don't really care about that. Getting to 32 gigs though, here we go. It's another 3,000 rand at least. So it's not possible in the price point. So I would go for something like this. Look, gaming wise, you're still going to be okay with 16 gigs. You can always in the future buy another 16 gig kit and then have that speed match up. So you'll be fine for gaming. You'll even be fine for production. You really don't need that much. I personally have 48 gigs, but I mean, I do a lot of 3D work and stuff like that. So it is what it is for gaming. I think you'll be okay. But you know, if you could get 32 gigs, obviously get it. Okay, so the big one is the graphics card. Now you have a few options here. I went with the 9060 XT. Look, it depends what you want to play at. Do you want to play at HD, 1080p? Do you want to play at 1440p? Do you want to play at 2K, 4K? You know, what resolution do you want to play? I'm running a 5070 in my PC, and I run a ultra wide screen in front of me here, and it's 4K by 2K. So that's a good compromise for a 5070 because it can still max out games at that resolution. It's sort of like in between 2K and 4K, right? So it's an interesting resolution. That's what I would aim for. You know, so it just depends on what it is you want to do. So let's clear the graphics card, see what the options are. We do get the XFX variants. I love XFX cards. I think they are amazing. They look really nice. And this is a very powerful card, right? So even for 2K, even some 4K, this card is going to be more than capable. In that same price point, because we're going to be around 8 to 10,000 Rand for this price point. And that unfortunately prices us out of the 5070. But it does price us within a 5060 Ti. But, you know, that just doesn't make sense because you don't get the VRAM. I'd rather go for a 16 gig 9060 XT, which is going to get close to the 5070 in some games. Not all games, but in some games. Now, if you have a little bit more, you do get the new 007 game with this graphics card. A 5070 solid. So this is close to what I have. I've got a 5070, just a base 5070 like this. I paid 11,000 for it. So, you know, it's not a bad price, but it just doesn't work with this budget, unfortunately. So I would not go for a 5060 Ti, and I would not go with an Intel variant for this. They don't have anything at this price point. So I would go for this, the 9060 XT. It's a great card. It's going to be more than fine for gaming. It is what it is. There's not a lot of options, but it's a great card, and it's got great drivers. It's great for gaming. So we'll see how it performs after this. Now, power supply wise, you just have to go something that you think is reputable. You don't want to buy 29,000 Rand worth of parts and then buy 1,000 Rand power supply and the thing blows up. I mean, that's what I did, and it didn't happen to me. I've got basically this one, but the deep cool variant. It is 80 plus bronze. It is 700 watt. I would probably try and go for like an 800 or 750 watts, but I just didn't see anything that was immediately. But we do have a little bit extra money. We could do 1,400 Rand. So let's see what we can get. We do get the Antec. Now, I like Antec in terms of chassis, in terms of cases, but I don't know about this. I don't really know about these power supplies. They look okay. It is 80 plus gold. It is semi-modular, so we'll take it. We'll take it and see what it looks like. But when you do buy something like this, just do your research. You know, just Google this. Make sure it's a good power supply. Make sure it's a safe power supply. Antec are usually quite reputable, but they do also sell budget parts. So sometimes it can be a bit touch and go with their stuff. But I mean, they have more premium parts as well. It's not just a budget company. So, you know, they've got a big range. I like Antec a lot, so I generally recommend them. So I think this would be okay. And I like the way it looks. So we'll go with that. Takes us right around 30,000 Rand. Now, lastly here, the SSD. Now, this is tough. Putting a 500 gig SSD in a build that is 30,000 Rand is really tough. But, you know, it's let me show you these prices, right? I'm gonna filter high to low, and you'll see how quickly the bottom falls off here. So the highest you can go is a Kingston Fury. It's an 8 terabyte drive. That's 50,000 Rand. That's like more than the 1% makes in a month, right? One step down, it's like that's another salary right there. 20,000 Rand, 19,000 Rand, 18,000 Rand. I mean, this is the budget of the PC more or less. So it's, you know, the prices are just in a really bad place right now. So we have to go down a lot. We have 1,300 Rand for a SSD. Now here's the thing, right? 1,300 Rand back in the day, like 2 years ago, that would buy you an NVMe drive on special, a 1 terabyte NVMe drive, 1,300 Rand. Now, I mean, I've got a a Samsung 980 Pro in my PlayStation 5, and I got it like for like 500 Rand second hand. Now that thing is like 4,000 Rand. Okay, maybe not second hand, but you get the point. So, you know, it's a tough situation. So we have to go down all the way, and you'll see quickly how we're at 6,000 Rand here, and it's 1 terabyte. I mean, what are we doing? It's just such a bad place right now. Like, some of these don't even have heat sinks on them, and they're like 5,000 Rand. Not that that really matters that much, but it's just a sad state of affairs. So what I'd say is get something like the one that I put in. I mean, there's a lot of options, but it's just no good options. We're getting down to like 1,800 here, and it's 250, 512. I mean, it's just sucky. Let's take the Hicks Semi here, because it is an NVMe. It's only a Gen 3, so you won't, you know, it's not even a Gen 4. Not even not getting close to a Gen 5. So if you want to take something like this, that puts us over the budget slightly, but you know, you have some options. None of them are very good. I'm gonna take the one I had just because I'm trying to stick to the budget. So I would do this, right? I would get something like this Corsair, put it in the case, use SATA connections with it, and just forget about it. Just play on it. It'll be fine for now. And then when prices come down, or if you find a good second-hand deal, get yourself a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte NVMe drive. Get yourself a 4th gen drive and put that in there, and your speeds will be better. But look, for gaming, it's going to be okay. It'll do the job for now. You'll need more space, so you know you'll have to be on the lookout. But the options are limited, right? It is what it is. And that puts us right around, I don't think you can see it, that puts us right around 30,000 Rand there. We have a buffer there of 48 Rand. So yeah, that's pretty close to the price there. Now, PC like this, it's a lot of money, it's a salary, but it will game quite well, and you'll have a great time with this. So let's see how this PC would do in gaming. So over here we have test for the 9060 XT with a 70X100 X3D, and let's see how it does. Let's see how this goes. So first up here we do have, this thing is right in my face, Arc Raiders. This is running at 1080p cinematic, so that's, you know, it's like sort of like a medium setting, and we are looking at an average of 63 there. That seems slightly low. Maybe cinematic isn't medium. Let me make sure here. Cinematic. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if cinematic's like a high setting or a low setting, but it looks great, right? And this is capped around 64 here. Black Myth Wukong. This one is struggling a bit as well. This is running at 1080p cinematic as well. Let's take a look at Warzone on extreme graphics here. 160 FPS, that's a bit more like it. 1080p extreme. I'm not sure about Black Myth Wukong. I'm not sure why that's running so poorly. No, it wasn't. I think there's something wrong with the capture here, because it was like 130 for a second. This doesn't look like 46 to me. This looks more like 70, 80 if you look at the frame time and everything. Regardless, it's not a great result here, but might be just driver issues or something like that. Let's keep going, and we'll see how it goes. CS2 here, I'm not sure why it's at this resolution, but it is getting an average of 550. So, you know, the guy that wanted us to do this, he wants to play esports stuff, he wants to play FPS titles. It's gonna be amazing for those kinds of games. A more demanding game here, Cyberpunk 1080p Ultra. We do get an average of 100, so that's very good. You know, ultra graphics. You could push this to 2K here, and you'll get around, you know, 80, 90. 4K, you'll get above 60. So I do think this is a 4K gaming capable PC, but I would play a 2K with it. Doom the Dark Ages. Pretty difficult game to run, truth be told. This is running at 1080p Ultra Nightmare, and we are looking at 83 average. So that's actually really good, especially because it's such a ray tracing heavy title. But these new cards from AMD are amazing with ray tracing, and with FSR 4.1 coming, it's going to be very interesting to see the improvements in them. We'll take a look at Battlefield 6 at overkill, so maximum settings there, 1080p overkill, an average of 85. So I'm not sure what happened at the beginning of this test with Arc Raiders and Black Myth Wukong, but since then it's done amazing. But those two tests were a little bit sus. I'm not sure what happened there. Fortnite, we are looking at 1080p performance here, 460 FPS. So, games like these, games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield, you're going to get amazing performance. Counter-Strike in those, even better. God of War Ragnarok, not a demanding game, but not an easy game either. And this is running at 1080p Ultra. We are looking at an average of 120 FPS. So, a game like this, I would put this on 4K, play at like 70, 80 FPS, would be an amazing experience. GTA 5, we don't really even need to look at this, but 1080p Ultra, Ray Tracing Ultra, an average of 105. Very good there. This will be GTA 6 ready. This will play GTA 6 at high settings quite easily. Hogwarts Legacy here, another demanding title, an average of, right now, 200, okay, there we go, 110 FPS, 1080p Ultra. So that's very good as well. You can play this on 4K, capped out. Not sure about ray tracing and all of these when you do go 4K, but 2K ray tracing, 1K ray tracing, it's all good. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, quite a good looking game. 1080p experimental, I'm not sure what that means, but we are looking at an average of 42. So some games just don't like AMD. It's just the way it is. But with the new drivers, we'll see how it goes. Red Dead Redemption 2 here, an average of 120 at 1080p Ultra. I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at the moment on my 5070. I do play at 4K and I get similar stats to these, but this is very respectable and it looks amazing. Rust, not really going to look at the finals, something that you would be interested in playing. And this is running at 140 FPS average on 1080p Ultra. So what do you want to play at? Do you want to play at 1080p or 1440p? Both are going to be more than capable. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, interesting game. Not very well optimized. 50 FPS, 1080p Ultra. This game is very difficult to run, but not the best result there. Valorant, I'm going to put on high because there's no reason to look at the low. 1080p high, 750 FPS. So let's talk about this PC. This is an interesting one. Look, you can go with the 5060 because you do have access to different sort of tools then, right? Different drivers and things like that. But a PC like this is going to play games really well. I mean, this Warzone, this is on low, so we're looking at over 200 FPS, but for FPS games, competitive gaming, it's going to be amazing. You don't really need anything more than this. And for 30,000 Rand, I think this is going to be an amazing gaming experience. Now, I'm assuming you already have a screen and a keyboard and mouse and all that stuff. If you want to put that stuff, it'll be easily another 5,000 Rand. But that's different. I'm just, when I do these build guides, it's just the box, just the case and everything in it. But this will be an amazing experience. You'll play a lot of these games at great numbers. Now this test is a little bit outdated. It is 4 months ago, so the recent drivers will have fixed some of these issues. I expect games like Black Myth Wukong to play a bit better than what they did in this test. But this PC will game. It'll game handsomely, easily, and you'll have a great time. So yeah, it's a weird thing because the graphics card is like 50% or 70% of the performance in a PC like this. Depends on the game. I mean, some games the CPU is used a lot more, but the 7800X 3D is a very, very, very capable CPU. So nothing wrong with it. You'll play games like these at maximum settings at over 140 FPS. So buy yourself 144 hertz screen, 1080p or 2K, and you'll have a great time. And that's about all there is to it. What would you have done differently? Do you think you would have maybe chosen a NVIDIA card? Would you have found a way to fit a 5070 in here? Because I think that will do slightly better. maybe we'll take a look at a 35,000 Rand build and see what a 5070 can do. For that one, I can just use my own PC. But, weird resolutions aside, this PC is very capable. Doom especially is impressive. And for FPS games like Battlefield, for other, racing games or MOBAs, you don't really even need to think about it. This is going to destroy those games. So, very capable PC. And I think it's a good build. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.